Hello, welcome to Off the Shelf Reviews.
I've been waiting for this for a long time.
And I'm Gary. And today we're going to review and discuss Alien Covenant, which came out in 2017 from director Ridley Scott. Ian, why don't you give us the synopsis for Alien Covenant?
Stop me if you've heard this one. The crew of the Covenant are heading to Algiers 6 with their crew of 2,000 sleeping colonists and 1,000 embryos. After suffering some damage to their ship, they intercept a strange transmission coming from a planet that doesn't seem to appear on any of their records. They decide to land on the planet, and after being attacked by some strange creatures, they come across David, the malfunctioning synthetic from the Prometheus ship. The crew then discover that David has been up to something very, very naughty.
Take a look. Something to see.
It's been almost a year since the film's come out, and of course we saw it the day that it came out, and we left our reaction video on YouTube, and of course that film, after leaving the cinema, destroyed me. You know, I was so gutted. It took me a long time to bounce back to being me again.
Yeah.
And that's because I'm a huge Alien fan. And and you can take the Alien versus Predator films and just go, yeah, it's over there.
Yeah.
It doesn't really belong in the Alien franchise as the four films that we've come to know and
the core
cherish.
trilogy,
The core trilogy, and of course Prometheus came out, and that then just split the Alien fans even more. And a lot of people thought Prometheus was utter garbage. I actually still really like it as a standalone film. It doesn't have the Alien title. It is what it is in the Alien universe, and it doesn't. You don't have to line everything up. Alien Covenant has Alien in the title. It wants to be an Alien film. Mm-hmm. It wants to be the prequel to Alien, yet it still will not lead you into Alien.
Nope.
Now, one of the big things to look at this film is that it has 4 writers attached to the film. Some of these writers have got great projects behind them.
Right.
So you'd think that the quality of the writing would be on point. We have Jack Paglen, who had done Transcendence and is going on to work on Godzilla vs. Kong.
Okay.
We have Michael Green, who wrote Logan, which was my favourite film of 2017.
Yeah.
He also wrote Blade Runner 2049, which was a really good adaptation or a good continuation of the Blade Runner franchise. It worked.
It works, yeah.
We also had a screenplay by John Logan, who had written films like James Bond, Skyfall, and Gladiator.
Not a good starter.
And we also had Dante Harper, whose only screenwriting credit is Alien Covenant. And Ridley Scott is massively on board when it comes to the story. In interviews, he said he picks his writers knowing their talents and their ideas for them presenting ideas that he perhaps had not conceived of himself, and went, that's good, we can work with that. And so it's sort of an evolving process.
What would you teach a robot like David if you are in charge?
How to write screenplays.
And so I'm like, how did Ridley Scott then, the guy who made Alien, fuck up so badly?
Because he did Prometheus, mate. You know, that whole religious fucking bullshit about the engineers being the creators of man, and oh, look how human they look.
No, that's a great idea for a film. That's
not an Alien.
Yeah, but that's why I say Prometheus is not really an Alien film.
No, but Covenant is the sequel to Prometheus.
Well, is it?
Yes.
It's not, though.
It's set 10 years after.
It may be set 10 years after, but in no real way is this a sequel to Prometheus. There is about 10 minutes in this film which feels like the sequel to Prometheus, when it actually isn't.
Yeah. I'm going to try my best not to hurt my head, because that will be where I start to swear a lot. So I'm going to do my best to keep Prometheus and Alien Covenant over here, and try my very, very best not to connect it to the core quadrilogy over here. Because I really fucking tried, and it didn't fucking work. Okay? Like Gary said, we did our reaction video when Covenant came out, and yeah, you were hollow. You were hollow. But I still held a flicker of light inside me where I thought maybe if I watched it a second time, if I need to watch it a second time to fully grasp it. I didn't get all of it in the cinema. I need to watch it at home. And so I, after paying to see it in the cinema, bought it for Gary on Blu-ray. And he only opened it about 4 days ago. His birthday was in October. I then also bought it for my wife for Christmas after Gary's birthday. What a fucking sucker I am, spending so much money on this. And she watched it, and I still hadn't watched it. And we're in, coming to the end of March now, or by the time this video comes, we're at the time of this recording, we're at the end of March. And I only just rewatched it. And fuck me, you could just drop that whole beginning sequence with Wayland and David.
Well, that's the thing, because that sequence then sets up this film and the previous film.
Well, that's it. That's the, how do we connect it to Prometheus? Let's get Guy Pearce in it, because he was in Prometheus. And let's get Michael Fassbender back as David. And they can sit in this really elaborate, sparsely populated room, and we can go on a whole creation aspect. Wayland has created David, and he believes David is perfect. And David believes he is, but is already questioning his own existence 5 minutes into his own creation, because he's wondering why he's a slave to a flawed human.
Yeah, he already realizes he's superior to his creator.
Yeah.
And whereas we know that Wayland is not superior to his creator, because we're human.
Well, yeah, right, yeah. But like I said, this is before we start trying to connect it, because obviously Wayland will die in Prometheus after already dying in Antarctica, and then already come back on Fury 161. Yeah, I'm not going there. Let's keep it separate.
Aren't they different Waylands? There's Peter Wayland, and then there's...
I thought they were all the same.
I don't know, I think there's different Waylands. I don't know, I think...
Right, yeah. But
oh no!
Brain hurt. Okay, we haven't even got past the opening yet. But... we know, obviously, after going through everything in Prometheus, of how that turns out. Wayland will obviously die, and David will get his head ripped off, and he'll end up going off with Shaw. So then we just jump to the beginning of Alien. Oh, wait, no, it's the beginning of Alien Covenant, even though Ridley Scott is hinting that this is the beginning of Alien. And
you hear the familiar music
yes,
from the original Alien film, and I think you
and
do
the
for the first
card.
half an hour.
Yeah, the original title card lettering coming up. And we then are introduced to Walter, played by Michael Fassbender, who is an upgraded model of David. They should have just got somebody else in. They really should have just got somebody else in.
Another droid. Yeah.
Because
model.
If you're an experienced film watcher and you haven't seen Covenant yet, then you already know what's going to happen if David and Walter meet. But spoilers.
I'm trying to think. This is roughly, I think this is 18 years before the events in Alien. So I'm just wondering, when did they introduce the Ash model into the system? Because at the same time, in Alien, right?
Yeah.
When they find out that Ash is an android, they are confused. They're like, there was an android on crew. How long have we been with this guy? We only just found out he's an android. And yet the Covenant crew are like, yeah, that's our android.
That's our synthetic. We take a synthetic on with us everywhere because, well, we need one.
What the fuck happens in those 18 years?
I honestly don't know. But the film is set 10 years after Prometheus. The Prometheus crew have obviously done their thing and have flown off. And 10 years later, the Covenant crew, are flying out to their planet with 2,000 sleeping colonists. They've got all these embryos and they're hoping to terraform. They're out there doing their thing, which is great. And immediately I'm like, you're all going to fucking die. It's an alien film. I'm seeing flashbacks already. This crew on this ship. Let's get to know them. Oh wait, there's a malfunction. The solar rechargeable sails are hit by an energy wave, and a power surge goes straight through the ship.
Emergency. Threat level critical.
And they lose a bunch of the colonists and James Franco.
James Franco was in this?
Yeah, I saw the trailer for this movie before seeing it in the cinema, and James Franco's name was just splashed up, starring James Franco, and You know, fucking Michael Fassbender. I'm like, fucking hell, James Franco's in an Alien movie.
And Danny McBride.
And Danny McBride. I'll get the Danny McBride.
Oh, you're not feeling good?
I'm just burning up.
So there are a lot of deleted scenes and extended sequences which are just not in the film.
Yeah, just
including The Last Supper.
Yeah.
Which is a great scene for establishing every character in the film. It's a deleted scene, extended scene. It's not in the film.
Yeah.
It was, it was released before the film came out. It's like, this is not great filmmaking or storytelling within a film.
I felt like...
Because at least in Alien, you establish all these characters as they wake up from cryosleep, their dinner,
Yes,
their conversations,
yes,
you know
yeah,
them.
yeah.
In Aliens, you have the Marines. They wake up from cryosleep, you get to know them.
Yeah.
In this film, they wake up in an emergency situation, characters die, and then next thing you know, the plot is advancing and advancing and advancing.
Yeah.
And it's just like, oh right, you're all couples.
Oh yeah, you're all partners and married. And...
But who's partner?
Yeah, I know. I felt, you know, that Last Supper thing. I felt that when they released that, do you think it was kind of like, we're not too sure how people are going to take this movie, so let's stick this out and see what... we'll test the waters with this little bit and see if there's enough people.
It felt like they were editing the film and just went, oh, it's getting to like 2 hours, 20 minutes, so let's cut, fast forward and release the film that way.
Yeah, because, yeah, James Franco is fucking barbecued inside his cryo tube, and his wife, Daniels, who's the second in command now of the ship, watches it, and there are so many sequences in this film that just harken back to Alien and partially Aliens, that trying to keep it over there is really fucking difficult.
I got issues with just this. I mean, I might have even said it in the other video, but these are cryo tubes, right, for people to go to sleep in.
Yeah.
What malfunction could have been programmed into these things to cause them to incinerate whatever's inside them?
I don't know. Maybe the oxygen. Maybe there was an oxygen. They don't tell you.
Why were they built that way that this malfunction could happen?
I don't know.
And also, why are all the cryotubes hanging off like coat hangers so that they can swing violently everywhere?
I don't know. It's like when Mother turns to David Walter, when she turns to Walter and says, "There's an energy surge coming," and Walter's like, "Really, Mother? I'm on my way." Boom! Oh fuck! I better run now. I'm like, you fucking idiot! You're in charge of this thing when people are sleeping. Billy Crudup, playing Oram, is now commander of the ship. I like Billy Crudup. He was in Almost Famous as the lead guitarist. He played the son in Big Fish. I'm sure he's been in a hell of a lot of films, but
he's a big stage actor. Yeah,
he is a really good actor. And so when I saw him in this film, I'm like, okay, I like you. Let's see how you go with it. And I will say that the acting in this film is quite good, actually. I did get behind Daniels. You know, emotionally, she's just watched her husband die, but she's in charge of this ship, so she obviously kind of gets rid of all that kind of stuff to carry on with her job and hold the emotions in check. You've got Oram, who's this religious leader guy.
See, you said that the acting is good, and the acting in the film, I think, is actually really good in places.
Yeah.
But the script and the dialogue is atrocious.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
It's like, this film just presumes that its audience are dumb. And so instead of having a character that's unsure of himself and is a little bit flaky in his command position now, which you could see that from his performance.
Yeah.
But then he has to deliver a line to the audience which goes, hey, I'm a religious person, I have faith, and so the company doesn't really believe that I can be a commander.
You can't be a person of faith and be counted on to make qualified, rational decisions. You're an extremist, you're a lunatic.
It's like, you've just read out your character synopsis.
Yeah.
Like, for the audience.
I mean...
And this happens a lot in the film, where characters explain the plot to each other, and it's like, you both read the script, clearly.
What's he got faith in?
God, in heaven.
Yeah, but is it God? We don't actually know. He doesn't have a crucifix. He doesn't pray.
I mean, it's a deity,
Yeah,
a religion. He is a religious
He could
person
be
in a non-religious
He
universe
could be a
now.
fucking Buddhist for all we fucking know. He could worship a fucking banana skin. We don't know.
But he has faith in that banana skin.
Right,
so-
the banana skin is what. Yeah. Barring the fact that he's on board a spaceship built by science, delivering colonists so that he can procreate on a planet.
It's part of the thematics of the film about creationism, religion.
Right, and that should have stopped at Prometheus.
Yeah, because this doesn't continue any of those themes, really.
Yeah.
Well, of the theme of creationism.
Danny McBride, I was very fucking surprised by. I have not been a Danny McBride fan because I mean he turned up with Seth Rogen and James Franco in a bunch of their films, Pineapple Express. I think he's in Superbad. I could be wrong there. I definitely have seen him in Your Highness, and some films with Will Ferrell. And I just thought people were always on at me. Danny McBride's so funny. He's so great. And I thought he was a fucking idiot. I know I'm looking in a mirror like that. Looking at Danny McBride and I'm like, yeah, you're a fucking idiot. But there's comedians and there's really good comedians and there's comedians that can act.
Yeah.
And I didn't think he could act as well as, say, James Franco and Seth Rogen. This film changed my mind on Danny McBride because he can fucking act. Tennessee is like Parker and Brett rolled into one.
Tennessee is probably one of my favourite characters
Yes.
in the Alien franchise.
Yes.
I was so surprised at his performance, his warm nature.
Yeah.
He feels like your best friend.
Yes.
And during grieving horrible moments, is the sort of energy that you want to have around you. So I could see him as being, the heart and soul of the crew of the ship.
Yeah.
And he does that so well.
And I don't know if that's a good thing or not. If a guy I fucking didn't like turns out to be the best thing in an Alien movie, I'm like,
What's going on?
what the fuck's going on?
To all the good people gone too soon. May we remember them.
So, sticking with Danny McBride, Tennessee has to go outside the ship to fix the solar sails. And while he's away from the ship, his helmet picks up a strange signal. Oh, wait, where have I seen that before? I'm going to be saying that a lot, actually. And he heads back to the ship and they take his helmet and they decipher the signal and realize it's John Denver. Somebody singing John Denver.
That's fucking John Denver. That's Take Me Home Country Roads.
Gotta be kidding.
Oh no, I never kid about John Denver.
2017 was the year of John Denver.
Yeah.
There must have been at least 3 or 4 films that featured Take Me Home Country Road by John Denver.
Country roads, take me home to the place I belong.
Well, mama, take me home, country road. That's Take Me Home Country Roads.
Gotta be kidding.
Oh no, I never kid about John Denver.
There's geometric data too.
You're in the fucking future. I mean, are we in the future that we can connect the Blade Runner universe to the Alien universe and say that the Earth is so fucked nobody makes music anymore? That whoever is out in the middle of deep fucking space on an uncharted planet is going to be sitting there singing John Denver. Luckily, Tennessee recognizes the fucking tune. And nobody feels suspicious about this. They all seem to come to the agreement that they don't want to get back into the cryo capsules.
Yeah, I don't want to get back in one of those things either. After seeing what happened, I'd be like, why would you?
Well, bullshit to that, right? They signed up to this fucking job. Okay, so they must have known of the fucking stresses and strains that the ship would go through. They even say it's a random event that can't be predicted. right? But you must have known that before you got into the cryo tubes the first time, that now, oh, I'm faced with a decision. Do I get into the cryo tube that could maybe possibly kill me in some random event, or go to this strange alien weird planet that none of us have ever seen before that could be paradise? It harkened back, I remember what you said in Alien. You know, it's the old teens driving down the fucking highway in their car. Breaks down. They see a mansion in the distance and they go...
lights on.
With the lights on, they go, oh, I'm going to go there. But this time it just so happens that one of your friends' twin duplicate brother just so happens to live in the fucking mansion. I'll get to that. Visually, I thought that the film was nice.
Visually, this film is beautiful. It is one of the best looking sci-fi films of the modern time. You know,
Yeah.
and it's amazing to see a huge budget put behind great visuals. And Ridley Scott has always outdone himself in every film he's ever made when
Yeah.
it comes to its visual storytelling. And that's because he was a storyboard artist.
Yeah.
He storyboards everything, and he's literally filming to match what's in his head. And they always come up. It always looks fantastic.
I mean, the whole drop sequence with the lander, I seen it before in Alien and partially in Aliens, and that's really started to grind on me with the movie, because I'm like, Ridley, you're not only stealing things from your movie, but you're partially stealing things from the other movies in the franchise, but trying to pull them off as your own idea. I mean, Tennessee's wife happens to be the pilot of the lander, while her husband is the pilot of the ship. Okay, that's a cool little coincidence. And then I got a bit of a Pharaoh kind of pilot acting from her. You know, she's got all the people behind her, their security team, their crew, they're all locked in. She's got Orm next to her. You know, you talk about the hull ionization and how it's going to be stormy. We're in for some chop. Orm's constantly asking her if she's got it. And she's like, fucking got it. I know what I'm doing. I don't buckle under pressure.
You got it?
Yes. Stop asking me if I've got it. I've got it.
And they get to the planet, and like I said, it's beautiful to look at. The lander coming down, circling around the mountains. I mean, I don't know where they filmed it to.
They filmed in Sydney, Australia, and in New Zealand.
Because it just looked absolutely beautiful. And they come down, they land on the water, and everybody gets up. And partially, I was kind of annoyed that I was just like, holy fuck, you just opened up the door and just on this alien planet you don't know. But they had scanned the planet before.
They scanned it for like 5 seconds.
But-
They were like, yeah, we can live there.
Yeah,
But they didn't send down any drones.
No.
They didn't do any surveillance. They
No.
didn't go, was there any suspicious
No.
particles, any bacteria that we're not detecting?
No.
Let's send down a small team to sample the immediate environment in protective suits.
Nope, they
Now
didn't do
send
anything.
down the entire crew.
Yeah.
No protection.
Yeah, no protection, because this place looks like paradise, and you know, if it stops us from making a 7-year trip to that planet, then hey!
So it's like, you know, Ridley Scott said that he looked at the complaints of Prometheus,
Yeah.
and it's the reason why he went back to making an Alien film. It was going to be called Alien Paradise Lost.
Right.
And
It's a shit title.
well, it's to do with the biblical references and everything else, and also continuing the themes of Prometheus.
Yeah.
And so he went, okay, you guys didn't like Prometheus, you didn't like the engineer stuff, so we'll get to the alien, and so that's what we'll do. But he didn't listen to the complaints about the stupid characters.
Yeah, the
doing
stupid writing.
stupid things, and they were scientists.
Yeah.
You know, like NASA scientists today are looking at those films going, none of you would get past NASA training today.
No.
God knows what the standards are like in the alien future universe. But yeah, all of these colonists just emerge from the craft, and yeah, it's within 5-10 minutes that 2 of them are infected.
Whoa, spoilers! They walk out, they start checking everything. Oh, this is wheat. Somebody's grown wheat here. What's the chances of that? Very unlikely. Shall we get back on the lander? No, let's go keep searching for that mysterious signal. Guys, you're all going to die. That's fine, okay? And Orm's wife, you know, Orm's married as well, She's a biologist, and so she decides that she's going to stay behind with one of the guards and take mud samples, which is absolutely completely safe on a planet that seems to be devoid of all life, and giving out strange signals that you should just leave two people on their own. Let's split up, as they say. This main security guard, I think his name's Whittle. He dies. It don't matter what his fucking name is. He stands on what I can only... I bought Gary this book so that we could reference it. And in the book it says that those are fungoid growths.
Yes.
Growing. And the spores inside will enter the body through any orifice it can and then infiltrate the blood system. But don't they look surprisingly like mini eggs?
Yes, yeah.
Really, really tiny
And
eggs.
it's like the black goo is now kind of airborne. There's like this spore particle which combines together to...
And must have its own sentient mind to be able to come out into the air and go, I'm looking for a body. I'm looking for a body. There's one. Oh. Because that's what it fucking does. It flies around for a bit and enters his body. And I'm like, that's quite good. We cut back to Orem and his crew, and they have come across a part of the forest that looks like it's been severely damaged. And one of the security guys, Lowe, I think his name is, the head security guy, says, something took the top of these trees off. It's up there over that hill. And as they overcome the hill, they come across the derelict spacecraft. Oh, where have I seen that before? And they decide to enter the craft. Obviously, you kind of predict how this is going to fucking go, because as they're walking around, one of them accidentally steps on some more spores.
And then he sticks his face right down in front of it to have a closer look.
These are fucking... Who signed these people up for this stuff? Hey, we're going to an alien planet. What's that? I don't know. Let me put my face in it.
Oh, that'll happen again later on.
So we're now cutting back between the two teams and watching the slow infection of the two guys. And Daniels and a few of her crew come across Shaw's dog tags. Who hung them up there? Because they're just hanging inside the derelict spacecraft. So, yeah, it's connected to Prometheus. This was the ship that Shaw and David brought to the engineer's homeworld. But Orem's wife starts screaming that the guard seems to be infected and she needs to get him back to the lander. Now, if you remember, I said that the pilot can work under pressure. She can't. Because as soon as she starts intercepting the information from Orem's wife that the guard is, fucking bleeding and spewing blood out of everywhere, she starts to freak out. And they bring the guard in and throw him into the medibay. And we realise that Orem's wife has got blood all over her. So technically she's broken, safety protocols and has to be quarantined. But as Tennessee's wife, the pilot, is taking off the guard's shirt, something hits his back and blood hits her in the face. And she immediately freaks and walks out the medibay and locks both of them in there.
Orm's coming. He's coming. We're gonna wait.
Let me the fuck out!
We're gonna wait.
Paris, please, open up!
I can't do that. I have to keep the infection low.
Now, you've got blood on your face, and she's got blood on her face. So why lock her just in there on her own?
Doing stupid stuff.
Just stay here, she says. Just stay here. Fuck that shit. This guy does not look fucking healthy. We need to fucking regroup with the other guys. Oh, but they're carrying somebody who doesn't look healthy either. Right, okay, so we're pretty much up shit creek without a paddle. And we are introduced to the first xenomorph, or technically the second one after seeing the one in Prometheus. This is the protomorph.
Or the neomorph. Whatever.
Well, it's an alien. The alien bursts out the guy's back and is this tiny little thing on the floor. Why didn't she run over and stomp on it? Now, before you say, well, hold on, hasn't it got acid for blood? Like I said, I checked the book. It doesn't. It does not have acid for blood.
Doesn't have its inner drawer either.
Doesn't have an inner drawer either. And it's extremely aggressive from the moment it comes out in this tiny little form. And it will grow bigger. Unlike the xenomorph that we already know that comes out as a chestburster worm arm thing and goes off and hides and then grows, this will immediately attack everything and anything on sight as soon as it comes out. And so it attacks Orum's wife in the medical bay. What a dumb bitch, pardon my French, but she pulls a knife to protect herself. Now, I don't know what she used to do on Earth, okay? But you're going to an alien planet with different creatures on. I'm not talking about the engineer's planet, I'm talking about Orogai 6. You know, there must be life on there that they would have to deal with. You know, be it the size of a cockroach or the size of a fucking bear. You'd have to be in this right mentality to put that fucker down to survive yourself, right? No, she sees this thing come down, completely freaks out, grabs a knife and holds it at bay. She boots the creature as it comes at her, so I know she can fight. But as soon as the creature gets up in her face, she doesn't drop the knife. She only uses one hand and swings the knife around while it's tearing her fucking throat out. Orum at this point and his crew are obviously intercepting the signal, but I love the fact that when they're being told to hurry the fuck up back to the lander, they decide that they're just going to take a leisurely walk. None of us are going to run. We're not going to send any of the security guys forward to give them some support because those people sound afraid. Even Tennessee knows that they're fucking scared because he even says, my wife sounds scared. I've never heard her sound like that. But his wife, Tennessee's wife, goes and gets a gun to protect herself. Walks into the medical bay and slips on the blood on the floor and shoots the ceiling.
That's 2 slips in the blood now within 2 minutes.
It's that banana skin. It's that godlike banana skin. It's because they don't have faith in the banana skin. She then runs from the creature and locks the door behind her, but like I said, the creature is so fucking aggressive, it smashes its way out through the glass. And oh my God, woman, you must know your craft. You must know your vehicle. You must know how dangerous it is to randomly fire off a weapon inside a ship. Oh, you don't? Well, this is what happens.
Adios, muchacho.
I mean, it was quite emotional. Orum and his crew getting up there and seeing the body stumble out.
Like I said,
the fire
when the
and
actors are
explosion.
not having to say anything but just perform,
Yeah.
they're really good. You really believe that he just lost his wife, and it was at that point that I was like, oh yeah, that was your wife.
Yeah, that was his
damn.
wife. Same as, and it reminds you as well.
Tennessee. It's like, oh, yeah,
Tennessee's
yeah.
wife. Fuck, somebody's gonna have to tell Tennessee. Holy shit! So Daniels has lost her husband. Tennessee's lost his wife, and Orum's lost his wife. I really hope we don't lose any more crew members. It's at this point the guard that they're carrying decides that he's going to give birth as well.
Out his mouth.
Out his mouth, yeah.
So we've had chest bursters, spine bursters, and
mouth bursters. But like I said, I referenced the book, and it says that unlike the chest bursters that we know and love, the proto-xenomorphs that we are seeing at the moment will escape from any place. And to me, it looked like the rest of the crew had held him down while he was going in convulsions.
Yeah.
And so the pressure on his chest might have been too much, and the creature thought, well, fuck this. But it bursts out of his mouth and runs off into the reeds. And then they just, they're fucked, basically. They're stood there. They can't do anything. They can't communicate with They can't communicate with the Prometheus. I almost said that. Or can't communicate with the Covenant. They're still in shock from the people dying around them, and so they decide to stay in the long grass. Where have I seen that before? Not Alien. They decide to stay in the long grass, and the proto-xenomorphs decide to come back and say hello.
Yeah, there was. I was impressed with the neomorphs, the way that they moved and performed, and the violence, and I was just happy to see the alien tail used more as a weapon again.
Yes,
and watching that guy get whipped in the face his bottom jaw falling off, I was like, wow, that was like that guy didn't even have time to react.
No.
He was just dead.
Yeah,
it's like that's great.
And that's the thing. I liked the way the creatures looked in this film. It's been always kind of the thing that's bugged me about the Alien movies, is that we never really got to properly see them. Most of the time they were a guy in a suit. Sometimes they were kind of bad CGI. But in this one, watching them run and jump and leap all over the place in tiny confines, I'm like, that looks brilliant. I want to see more of that. More of them. I want to be shit scared that 3 guys have to hold a corridor off against 15 creatures running at them. That's what I grew up with. But they don't, because David turns up and scares the aliens off and takes the crew back to his little holiday home.
It's hard to see, but it looks like there was a lot of those aliens sort of scuttling away from
Yeah.
that flare. I was trying to see how many aliens were actually there.
Well, they said there was more than one,
Well,
but one must have died in the lander,
Yeah.
and the other one's just come out of the other security guard.
No, the one in the lander runs off from the blast. You see it run out, yeah,
So
it got away.
Yes, because I only saw 2 in the long grass.
Okay.
And so I thought it might have been the one from the lander, but then wasn't too sure if it'd been killed. So then I was like, well, where did the second one come from? And yeah.
Well, all life on the planet has been eradicated by the black goo that David dropped on there.
Yeah. Yeah.
So all life at one point has turned or hybridized into whatever form the black goo wanted to turn it into.
Yeah. David obviously saves all the crew and takes them back to the engineer city.
Now, this is when we get a flashback
Yes.
of the continuation of Prometheus.
Yes.
Where he turns up at the planet and all of the engineers are like, oh, the ship's come home.
Ooh.
And it kind of lines itself up with, I don't know, like a docking
Yeah,
floor
docking
of some
clamp.
kind.
Yeah.
And so I'm like, why are all the engineers just like, they look like they want to celebrate, like, yay, it's come home. It's like, how many of these ships do you have?
Well,
or do you know this one in particular?
I mean, did they lose contact with that other planet, the Prometheus planet? So they were worried that everybody had been wiped out or the weapon had been lost. But then when the ship turns up, they're like, oh, maybe some people have survived because we've got no other way off this planet. So we've been kind of fucking stuck here. And David accidentally deploys the black goo onto them all. Now, why? I don't understand why he would deploy it all. Okay, yes, I know the one in Prometheus was massively aggressive and wanted to kill them all, and we had established in Prometheus that they were planning on coming to Earth with the black goo to fuck us up.
Maybe.
So, but we know David is malfunctioning because it's like Ash, just like in Alien. And so deploying the black goo wipes them all out and gives him a chance to understand what it does on a mass scale, because he's already seen it on a small scale in the first movie. But he, nor the writers of the movie, explain to us why his ship has crashed. I can only theorize that Shaw, who was piloting the ship at the time, saw David release the goo, realized that he was a risk, and crashed the ship into the mountain to stop him from escaping.
Yeah, I can buy that. And subsequently, David would kill Shaw and use her to continue his genetic experiments with.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's.
Can I?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, the first thing you fucked up with is making Michael Fassbender both the good guy and the bad guy in this movie, because any experienced film watcher will immediately know what the fuck's going to happen towards the end of this film. The acting was really, really good between the two Michael Fassbenders, but as it's just Michael Fassbender, and technically he's a good actor anyway, it works. But why the fuck does David need to cut his hair? Why the fuck does his hair grow long? Is that for all androids or just the David model? I mean, I understand that, hair follicles are living. So that would mean that the hair on his head must be living as well, which means it must be attached to blood and tissue and stuff like that, which we know David doesn't have because he's a fucking android, Has he always been cutting his fucking hair for the 10 years he's been on this planet? Or is he just been allowing it to grow long now? Is it extensions? I don't know. But once he gets everybody to the city and they realize that they're walking through a mass graveyard, they immediately just kind of put all their trust in him, like the mad scientist in the crazy laboratory. And how big is this fucking place? Okay? Oram tells a crew member not to wander off.
I'm going to go clean up.
Where? 10 levels down? But David also tells the security guys that the best way that they can get communication is on the roof. And he seems very surprised, but very quite happy that they've brought him not only a ship, but also thousands of sleeping colonists and loads of embryos. And you could literally hear him giggle inside. And I'm like, right, okay, David needs an engineer around here for this to at least connect to the derelict spacecraft and alien. No, he's wiped them all out. But the derelict on LV-426, no. Just, no.
So there still has to be an engineer in space out there somewhere in one of those ships. I mean, did he wipe out the entire race? Were they only on the space-faring race that may have created humans in the first place?
Yeah.
Only resided on one planet.
Yeah.
And they have no other spacecraft out there that would in 10 years decide to come back to their home planet and see what...
They had no defensive network in place as well to stop them from the black goo,
It's just thoughtless.
It's just that let's just get rid of it really quickly and let's get back to the horrific nature that everybody wants to see because they want to see aliens. And the protomorph, or one of them, decides to go to the engineer city. Why? What lured it there? Was it following them? Does it want to eat them all? Does it eat? I don't know. But this thing makes its way into the engineer city. And I like cutting back up to Danny McBride up in the ship. That really worked. Danny McBride's up there and he's worried about his wife. He's worried about the crew. He's in charge of all the colonists up here. And you can tell that he really doesn't fucking want to. He just wants to be a pilot. But he's got a duty. And so he's got to make those tough calls of getting the ship to a certain distance away, near enough to the planet so that they can at least pick up a signal from the crew. And so that was really cool. And like I said, the special effects were nice. I've seen the ship up there and the planet, the ionization storms and all that. That really nice. And then you went and fucked it up with the flute sequence.
Watch me. I'll do the fingering. Go on.
So, the big difference between the two characters and the reason why, Walter is the way he is because Weyland Yutani, when they built him, they were like, take away those emotions, take away any sort of creativity.
Yeah.
It just seems human, but is not enough to make you go, ugh, it creeps me out sometimes. I don't know if you're alive or not.
Yeah.
And the big difference with David is that he creeped everyone out because of those reasons, but he at the same time likes to create.
Yes.
just like he was created. And so even creating music is something special to him. And so he tries to teach Walter, who is able to learn but not create.
Yeah.
And that's the big difference there. It just comes across with the dialogue really, really camp.
I'm glad you used the camp word there.
Trying to be politically correct.
Yeah.
And it's the thing that annoys me more so over than these sequences is when David is playing a sort of eulogy for Shaw, or to Shaw, in her honour. And he's playing the theme music for Prometheus.
I get that David is supposed to be Ash, and I get that Walter is supposed to be Bishop, and I get that we're supposed to go, oh, it's just like Alien and Aliens, and this is what would happen if Lance Henriksen and fucking Iain Holm would meet up and start talking like they were synthetics. But you fucked up the movie from the start, that has got no connection to those other two films. So when I have those two fucking connections, it really fucking grates me. Because Walter's lost his hand defending Daniels. So that's how you're able to tell the difference. One's got a hand, the other one hasn't.
One also has a British accent, one has an American.
Yeah. But once David starts cutting his hair and making himself look a little bit more like Walter, I'd start to get fucking worried. You know, not the fact that I'm already supposed to be fucking worried on this planet anyway, you know, but our crew are all right. They're settled down. They're communicating with the ship, and we're going to try and obviously wait for the storm to pass over. You know, we're not scared at all. I know I'm going to go for a wash. Captain, I'm going to wander off and have a wash. Okay, don't wander too far. Yeah, wander far enough that when you scream, nobody hears you. I mean, for fuck's sake, he told you not to wander off, okay? Now, don't give me that, oh, there was no other water source anywhere else, because it's fucking raining outside. It's a lot of rain on these planets.
They're in the middle of a hurricane.
Yeah. And the fucking creature turns up and bites her head off, and David comes across it and is now excited, happy. He's going into Wayland mode because he's created this organism, and he's like, hey, look at it. It's perfect. If you blow on a horse's nose, it's yours for life. I got to try that. I didn't realize you could do that, you know. Blow on a horse's nose.
Breathe on the nostrils of a horse, and he'll be yours for life. But you have to get close.
So after David has this really close encounter with the neomorph, Orm turns up, and you see he's got the green laser light on it.
Yeah.
And David's just like, don't you dare kill it, don't you dare shoot. But Orm's just like, he realizes his other crewmate has been decapitated, and he blows the fucking creature away.
Yes.
Really angers David.
Yeah.
And, but Orm's just like, look, this is a killer creature. What the fuck are you doing here? And so David's like, all right, I'll tell you. Come on, mate. I'll show you everything. I'll tell you everything that I've been up to those last 10 years.
Yeah, I'll take you down to my little mad lab and show you all my samples.
So here's all my pictures. These are all my illustrations. You can see face huggers. You can even see, what's he called, Fievel? I think from Prometheus, the guy who got first transformed.
Yeah.
There's pictures of him up there.
Yeah.
There's other H.R. Geiger picture designs. I'm like, crap, this is an awesome laboratory.
There's abortive aliens from different life forms of all over the planet. You know, he's been working hard.
Yeah, I was like, that's a really cool setup. And then he's like, hey, follow me. And this is nothing.
Yeah.
This is nothing for what I've got back here.
Yeah.
Look at these eggs.
Where have I seen that before?
Oh, look, one of the eggs is opening. And he's like, what you'll see in here, blow your mind. Go on, put your face in there. Go on.
Yeah.
So, he does!
Now, before you get angry and say, come on guys, that's supposed to be part of the film, put yourself in that situation, okay? You've just seen a crew member, you've seen a lot of your crew members die, okay? You've got this suspicious looking fucking android there who lures you. It's not even like he takes him to a well-lit area. He walks him into a dark basement. You know, you stand there with the gun, I'd be like, fuck this. And then run. But no, he's, Oram and his mystical banana skin go, well, God will protect me. I'm sure it can be.
And this is where, if you made it to this point in the film, as an Alien fan, this is where the film just destroys the lore of the quadrilogy and goes, hey, remember those Alien versus Predator movies?
Yeah.
You remember how quickly you wanted the alien? We'll give you the alien super quick, an hour and a half into your film.
Yeah.
Because the facehugger's on, it falls off and dies within 2 minutes.
Yeah.
He wakes up, has a very brief conversation with David about what does David believe in.
Yeah.
Creationism. And the chestburster occurs. And becomes a full-size adult within 10 minutes.
Yeah.
So we've had face hugger, chest burster, full size alien, 10 minutes.
Well, that's the thing. It's not even a chest burster, is it? Because it comes out with arms and legs. It's just about 3 foot tall.
It's like what? It's not a neomorph or a protomorph. It's like 0.5 towards the actual xenomorph because it looks slightly different.
Yeah, but what? Like we said, if this film's supposed to be 18, if this film's like 8 years now before Alien,
18 years, yeah.
Well, yeah. At what point does the chest burster from this one, which seems pretty perfect, that it will come out 3 foot tall and then immediately become 7 foot tall in the space of 20 minutes. At what point does somebody come along and go, actually, you know what? We're going to take away its arms and legs and we're just going to make it like a worm because that works. And then it will just grow legs later on.
Now, a lot of people have gone, oh, how did David even get these eggs?
Yeah.
Now, it's not really explained other than he does say that he used Shaw as the basis and used her organs and things to create experimented with the black goo.
Yeah.
There is a supplementary, extra feature on the Blu-ray, which is about 5 minutes of David explaining all of his experiments. And he says that he literally took Shaw's eggs and mixed them with the black goo and made the eggs that would hatch a face hugger.
Yeah.
And so and that supplementary ends with David basically being the king of the aliens.
Yeah.
And he's trying to make a queen in order to make more eggs in order for him to make the entire species that he's been genetically modifying to get to the perfect organism, which is stupid because his perfect organism is so much less perfect than where it came from. The black goo is more perfect than the xenomorph. The black goo that comes out of the fungus spores and infects people is more perfect than the perfect organism because it doesn't need a face hugger. It doesn't need to burst out. It just alters you. And so I'm like, well, it just doesn't make sense.
It's because they're trying to connect it to Alien again.
So
to go,
de-evolving the species.
Yeah, they're like, hey, forget about the space jockey. It was David this whole time. It was an android that created the alien species.
It was a Weyland-Yutani prototype android that made the aliens, which caused the franchise
to collapse.
Well, now, yes.
At this point, Daniels has been in contact with Tennessee and convinced him to bring down a fucking loader or for some kind of terraforming vehicle and to power its engines and allow it to break the atmosphere. I mean, they only bought one lander, but he brings down the terraforming vehicle, and in the time that he takes to come down, Daniels is walking around with the last 2 security guards of the crew that they came down with. I mean, they came down with like what, 13 crew members? No, about 12, 13 crew
14,
members.
yeah. 13, yeah.
Yeah, and there's only 3 left, including Daniels. The 2 security guards come across Orum's body and have an encounter with the xenomorph, and Daniels comes across Shaw's body in the lab. Now, what the fuck did David use to preserve Shaw for 10 years that we can still make out the actress's face in the corpse? You know, you see it all gutted there, and yeah, that fully explains that he must have just been ripping bits out, going, I'll use this and I'll use that, and like a mad scientist, la 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 la, I'm so happy with all my good work, blah blah blah. And Daniels is confronted by David, who at this point decides that he wants to kill everybody off and get on board the ship so that he can create more xenomorphic creatures. David had already tried to take out Walter at this point, when Walter had realised that David was complete fucking psycho. And David had thought Walter had been deactivated, but Walter, being the upgrade that he is able to turn himself back online. He's got self-regenerative fucking skin. I mean, I wasn't entirely sure what David did to him. Did he stab him in the neck and shut him down, or hit an off switch? Or...
I most definitely did. Yeah, that's what it seemed like,
That's
because he
what
kind
it
of crunched up into a ball.
That's
like,
it.
Like a shutdown mode.
And
yeah.
then you saw that thing on his neck, but then all of a sudden it's sealed, so you're like, oh, he's coming back. And they start to have a bit of a fist fight.
It's your choice now, brother. Them or me. Serve in heaven or reign in hell.
And they have the bit of a fist fight, and like I said, Daniels leaves them and runs off to find the last surviving security guard because his mate has been killed by the xenomorph.
But there was a sequence where, again, the guy is wrestling with a face hugger.
Yeah.
That is wrapped around his face. It's on his face.
It's on his
But you
fucking
can
face.
still hear him screaming.
Yeah.
You know, it's not muted in any way.
He's not been incapacitated at this moment. He's trying to fight it back.
And his friend helps him, and they get it off, and they kill the face hugger.
How long did you say it was on him for?
I counted to 13 or 14 seconds. Now, granted, this is a 20th Century Fox property, and so all of the clips that we're going to be showing you are going to be less than 10 seconds because we want this video to stay up.
Yeah.
And so you're not going to be able to see the whole sequence, but
buy the film.
But trust me, it's only on there for about 14 seconds.
Yeah.
Now, it takes a long process for a facehugger to plant an embryo all the way down and enough material in there to sustain it, to help it grow, to make it become the thing.
Well,
now it would just seem like the facehugger can just latch on, drop something in, and be done.
Well, I mean, yeah,
it is Alien on fast forward.
Yeah, I'm not trying to defend it, but I mean, my mind's thinking now that if the facehugger, being a
prototype,
a sentient species as it is, being able to use its own mind to think about what it's going to do to incubate, that it will force the egg down the throat faster if A, it's being shot at, and B, it's struggling with its host. So, but that still tells me that as soon as that thing gets in your throat, you are fucked, regardless of how long it's on your face. Be it 2 seconds or 20 minutes, you are fucked. But we'll get back to him. Because just like in Aliens, the facehugger is pulled off his face and acid gets on there and he's now injured and is partly paralysed. Hey, where have I seen that before? And Daniels drags his fucking ass outside to Tennessee, waiting with the terraforming vehicle. Walter comes running out and tells us that David has been deactivated. And so they all jump onto the terraforming vehicle and go to escape. But the xenomorph catches up with them. And it's a cool fight sequence.
Yeah, it is. Yeah,
I mean,
it's a great action sequence.
It harkens back to Aliens. And, some of the other games that we've seen where you've been fighting the creature out on a vehicle, and you know, she fights it with a power loader arm.
It's a big crane arm.
Yeah, but it reminds me of a power loader.
I like the fact that she's kind of harnessed into the ship and she goes
she's
flying off
all over the place.
because the crane has come off. The ship's unstable, so
Yeah.
it's bouncing around. You know, the alien's trying to avoid the fumes coming
Yeah.
from the jets.
Danny McBride steals a lot of this fucking sequence, being the badass pilot he is, to try and keep the ship under control. I love that bit when the creature's walking over and he's like, "Holy shit!" You know,
I love watching the creature sort of smash open
Yes.
the glass to get out of the med bay.
Yeah.
And you're like, wow, these things are strong. We've seen aliens smash through stuff before.
Yeah.
And so watching him headbutt constantly to get into the cockpit before giving up, and then trying on the side panel. And
Yeah.
it's like, damn, those things are ferocious. I love that alien. I love the alien when it's doing alien things. But then, it stupidly gets caught by the crane arm and
Yeah, perfect organism, my motherfucking ass.
and it gets squished.
It gets squished. Wow, okay, brilliant. So we'll head back to the Covenant then and continue on our way, and let's never, ever, ever come back to this planet again.
And go to sleep.
Yeah, they take Lo up there and they lay him down and they start putting this green snot-like substance onto his face. I don't even know how that's supposed to work. I mean, does it seal as a simp's skin or something? It looked like peas that they were wiping on his face.
Yeah.
And Danny McBride and Daniels are stood there. They're emotional because they've lost a lot of their friends and they've lost their partners.
Right.
You know, he now has to call her captain, and they go and climb into bed. And we are told by Danny McBride that it will take 7 bells until Mother reboots because he's had to shut her off. And so the systems are all offline at this point. But as soon as she comes back online, her sensors pick up that there's an unexplained life form on board. So that tells me as well that they must have dealt with other alien creatures before, if they have a sensor on their ship that can tell the difference between humans and anything fucking else. And she immediately wakes up Daniels and Tennessee.
I love the fact that Tennessee's waiting by the weaponry.
Yeah.
And he's just, as soon as Daniels comes running past, he's like, there's your gun.
And they run to the med bay and they realise that Lo has given birth to a chest burster. Remember,
Again, this just goes back to Alien on Fast Forward, where
Yeah.
it's like, we need to secure it in an airlock somewhere.
Yeah, we just need to bring it up. The next 2 death sequences are just Parker and Parker and Lambert, sorry. Because Daniels and Tennessee, they're like, hey, Walter, David, where is it? And Walter's like, it's on this level. It's heading down to the other 2 members of the crew that happen to be up here, who also happen to be partners, because they're in the shower and they're about to have sex. And the alien comes up and puts his tail through the legs, and the woman sees it and screams, and it kills him, and then it kills her.
It was, I wanted to like the death sequence where the inner jaw came out through his mouth.
Yeah.
I was just like, yeah, okay. And she just kind of screams covered in blood.
Yeah. Nice boobs.
Well, it's not much nudity in the Alien films other than Alien Resurrection or some nudie mags in the first 2 films.
Yeah, but like I said, it reminded me a lot of Lambert and Parker,
Yes, yeah.
where 2 crew members are at another part of the ship. They aren't able to communicate with them because these people are listening to fucking music.
Really loud.
Really fucking loud.
But then again, at the same time, I'm just like, they think everything that it's over. You know?
Oh man, bullshit to that shit. You've just seen fucking 13 of your friends die. I would have.
But then those 2 haven't, because they've been up in space this whole time.
Well, then they fucking deserve to die then. If they're just gonna fuck after 13 people have been killed. Oh, look, I've just watched a massacre. Let's fuck. But anyway, they're wiped out, and Daniels and Tennessee now come up with the idea to seal off all of the doors leading to Daniels' home turf, which is the terraforming airlock, and to seal the creature in there and to blow it out into space. And they do, basically. They lure the creature in there. They try to seal it in the cab of one of the terraforming vehicles. It breaks out. They open up the airlock door and launch it out. Well, they don't launch it out of space. It tries to attack Daniels, but it's caught on the spikes of one of the
As
other...
she jumps down into the ditch.
One of the other terraforming vehicles, and it goes flying off into space. And so you're like, wow, I managed to get aliens and alien out of this film. That's pretty fucking good. And then...
Well, she even has lines. So there's two quotes, even directly from Alien. When they land on the planet, the character says...
Well done, me.
Walk in the park. Walk in the park.
It's like a walk in the park.
Yeah.
Which is what Parker says in Alien.
Yeah.
When she faces the alien in Alien Covenant, she says...
I got you, you son of a bitch! Ah!
I got you. You son of a bitch.
Now we come to the big twist ending, and if you hadn't seen this coming, or haven't even seen the hints that I'd been dropping all the way through this fucking review, they get Tennessee into his cryo tube, and they get Daniels into her cryo tube, and she says to Walter that when they get to the planet that they're heading to, she'll finally be able to make the cabin. And Walter has no fucking clue what the fuck she's talking about. And it turns out that at the beginning of the movie, when she had, after her husband had died, she'd had a conversation with Walter about building this cabin, and he had told her that she should continue to do that because it's the promise that she made. She realizes that he doesn't realize what she said, and that it's actually David. And he seals her in her cryo tube, and she goes to sleep. David then walks to the storage room with all the colonists in, regurgitates two mini facehuggers in capsules and places them in with the embryos.
It's funny how they're perfect fits.
So why you don't? So you don't need eggs anymore then?
No.
Because he can just make mini facehuggers. Do these facehuggers, did they get bigger once they break out?
Do they grow in the egg?
Yeah.
Does the egg appear around them?
Do you break the glass?
Exactly.
And then
It's
they
just constantly
add water or sunlight, or do you breathe on it? Do you
feed them after midnight?
Feed them after midnight? I don't know, because he just regurgitates them, puts them in there, and walks off all happy because now he's got thousands of test subjects to test the eggs on.
Considering the Covenant is never mentioned in any of the other films, we're just going to have to assume that David takes those colonists and converts them all into a xenomorph alien species army, including making probably the first queen, which I can only imagine would be the next planned film in this franchise. Now, Ridley Scott has gone on record as saying, yes, okay, critical reaction to Prometheus and Covenant was bad. And 20th Century Fox went, we're going to shelve this for now. No Alien 5, no Alien 3 for you, Ridley. And then Disney went, you know what, 20th Century, we're going to buy you out. And Ridley Scott says, despite what you may have heard or what people are saying, he is still actively working on the third film in this franchise, which is the prequel franchise. And, you know, I can't help but just make the parallels to George Lucas and his prequels to his masterpiece.
Yeah. Oh, and, yeah. I'm starting to see that now. Yeah.
And it's just it's just painful to watch. But then again, it's like, but we want the continuation of the franchise. And I'm like, well, again, I don't want to look at Star Wars, but even they just ended up remaking stuff and then doing stuff which just divided the fans anyway. So it's, you know, it's almost a lose-lose situation. But do you want a continuation of this story? Do you want to see...
I need the continuation because my brain hurts trying to connect these films. I need them to do it. It's gone to the point now after Prometheus and Alien Covenant that they fucked up so badly. I would take fucking anything, any far-fetched fucking view of how the films connect. I would go with that just so I can sit back and go, oh, thank fuck, we finally got there.
finally got to Nostromo coming to the alien planet.
Because at the moment they're like this. The Alien quadrilogy is over here. The Prometheus and Covenant are over here. And as much as they have their tiny little connections and their tiny little hints, this stuff over here doesn't work with this. Okay? You cannot sit there and say, oh, I'm doing my own thing. I'm heading back. I'm restarting the franchise. I'm rebooting it. And then steal 6 or 7 different fucking ideas from the other film. It just boggles the mind how writers sit down and go, right, I've been watching the films and I've been following the films and I know how all the films work, but I'm actually going to do something completely different and not explain why. Because just like when Prometheus came out and you had that big tagline saying all your questions will be answered, you just end up with more. I've got a fucking bucket load of fucking questions. From why David grows his hair all the way up to why the alien came out large formed.
Right.
Oh.
Patience is everything.
My first favourite scene is the... well, actually, I'll say my first favourite scene. My favourite scenes involving the aliens are really good. I like the look of that, and it just hearts me inside knowing that Neil Blomkamp had a chance to do it. And with all of his... ability of the effects that we saw in Chappie and the effects that we saw in District 9, you could take what you saw in Covenant and just blow it up to like fucking thousands of xenomorphs. They look glorious when they're leaping all over the place, when they're squatting down, when the tail's going, when the mouth's going. I don't care if it's a neomorph, a protomorph, a xenomorph, a fucking Mighty Morphin fucking Power Ranger. They just look so cool. The David and Walter confrontations, be it the small conversation pieces that they have to the fight sequences that they have, that's really well done as well. I like Michael Fassbender, and when he's fighting with himself, it does look cool. I really like the sequence where Orm turned to David and went, "What the fuck are you doing round here with that gun?" And I'm like, "Ooh, you're a man of religion. Would your banana allow you to say words like that?"
So, David, you're going to tell me exactly what's going on, or I am going to seriously fuck up your perfect composure.
And, yeah, Tennessee. He was a badass pilot. He'll always be remembered.
Favourite scenes in the film? The sequences between Tennessee and Daniels, I really cared for both of their characters.
Yeah.
Didn't care for anyone else in the film. I really didn't. They were disposable. There was no time given to them to develop or be introduced to them to really know who they were or to care when they died.
Yeah.
Because when they were dying, that was when I was going, oh yeah, you were related to that person.
Yeah.
Oh, you were a gay couple. I didn't even realise that.
Yeah.
So for me, the actual best sequence not in the film was the supplementary stuff that went out onto YouTube first. The Last Supper.
Yeah.
David and Shaw going to the engineer's homeworld. I guess if I had to choose any, it would be the encounter where she's fighting the alien on the lander.
Right. Yeah.
Even though it's supposed to have still been a hurricane. Going on, it kind of cleared up suddenly.
Yeah.
It was a good action sequence. I guess, yeah. So favorite sequence again, though, not in the film, is a supplementary on the Blu-ray where it's 5 minutes of David explaining all of what he's done in these 10 years, how he's crossbreeded and mutated and played with the goo and used it all and taken eggs out of Shaw's body, mixed it with the black goo to create the eggs, to create the first facehugger while he waits for people to come and find him so that he can breed them with these now facehuggers that he's incubated. And it makes you wonder, was it him then putting the signal out there? The Take Me Home Country Road? Was he trying to get people to come to the planet? I don't know.
Well, no, because that's Shaw. Shaw is sat in the seat
it's a recording
singing.
of her, but is he the one playing it out into space?
Oh yeah.
So, to try and get people to come and find him.
The light in the mansion on the hill.
Exactly. Yeah. So, but that was a great sequence. I love the way that it ends, where he says to Weyland Yutani, and that he is the creator now, that he is now a god, because he has 2,000 plus aliens at his disposal, and if humankind ever comes near David's quadrant of space, he will unleash the beast onto mankind.
If you do this, there will be no turning back. My creatures shall be set loose to rule this galaxy.
It still doesn't explain how we get to Alien.
Yeah, it doesn't.
But I like
Yeah.
that. I was like,
Yeah.
that actually ends David's story. And I don't know whether I'd want a whole film about Daniels in Tennessee waking up whilst David's doing experimentations on all of the colonists, and now they have to get onto an escape shuttle and get off the Covenant before David makes the Queen in the life cycle.
I think I'd be happy with that. Maybe like a new turn on the Ripley Hicks kind of thing. They've got to fight him and kill creatures, and you get colonists waking up. That would work.
Yeah,
that would kind of work.
It's favorite scenes. Yeah, it's it's as is. Would I recommend the film? It's different, and it's the same. It's stupid. It's silly. It's gorgeous to look at. The sound, music, and sound effects are fantastic. Like 10 out of 10. Visuals, 10 out of 10. Story, characters and script, 2s out of 10. And so it just leaves you... And also the fact that the film fucking breaks canon lore is just insulting to fans that have been with this franchise... forever. Like, these films started before I was born.
Yeah.
It's like,
we're almost at what, 40 years?
Yeah.
40 years of the Alien franchise. 40 fucking years of history, and you still fucked it up. I mean, come on, people. I have this horrible theory that Shane Black's doing the fucking same thing with the Predator. You imagine if Shane Black goes, hey, I'm coming back and I'm rewriting the Predator movie. Oh, but the Predator was created by man and doesn't actually hunt fucking humans for sport. He just hunts them so that he can make lots of little mini predators to run around. That would really fucking piss you off.
I don't think it's going to be that bad.
Oh,
well, yet to be seen.
Yeah.
So do you recommend Alien Covenant yourself, Iain? Would you ever watch it again?
Yes, I recommend Alien Covenant to people who like Prometheus and who don't want to connect it to the quadrilogy. As I said at the beginning of this review, if you try to, it really makes your head hurt and your nose bleed. You just can't with what they've given you at the moment. It is nice to look at. There is some good acting in there. There is some good special effects in there as well. But like many films, it fucking suffers from too many writers. It suffers from one man's ego trying to control a franchise, thinking that he's a god, shall we say. Changes I would have made. I would have gotten rid of Walter, and I would have made Daniels the synthetic. I would have had Daniels and David go up against each other. I would have fucking dropped David as well and just left the fucking aliens on the planet. Get them all ripped up. Some of the dialogue is just so fucking stupid. Don't wander off. Alright then, I won't. Some of the acting. I know people are going to say, well, you don't know how to act under pressure. You're a pilot. Don't shoot a gun inside your own fucking ship. It's got some really good original ideas, and then it steals some ideas from the earlier movies, and that really annoys me. So, if you want to watch it, watch it. If you don't.
The first time I saw Alien Covenant, I was like, this is the bottom of the barrel for the Alien franchise, and it's really not.
No.
If I was questioned with the choice of Alien Resurrection, Alien Covenant, what would you watch?
What, Resurrection on its own, or if you've gone through the other three movies?
Just watch on one. You're just going to choose one of those two films.
Oh, I'd go with Covenant.
You'd choose Covenant over Resurrection.
I would choose Covenant over Resurrection because I would need the other three films to base Resurrection.
Okay.
But I wouldn't be able to watch Aliens, Alien 3 and then go to Covenant.
Well, no.
Because yeah.
Yeah, it's I place it on the same level as Resurrection. Really, at least Resurrection knows what it is.
Yeah.
And it is camp and it's fun and it's tropey, but it doesn't break canon. Really, I mean, it's one of those where it goes, Alien trilogy, Alien Resurrection. We're going to put it over here like hundreds of years after.
Yeah.
And it just slots over there. It's an Alien Covenant does it on the other side.
Yeah.
It's nowhere near the glory days of the original 3 films in the franchise. It has rewatchability if you're happy with average, if you're happy with mediocre. It will also be a really good film for you if you do not hold the Alien franchise in such high regard as perhaps we do, being fanatical to an extent about the Alien franchise.
Yeah, I'd say that as well. If you've never seen the original Alien movies and have no intention of watching Alien movies, but
those films will confuse you instead of this one.
yeah, but not as much.
No. Thanks for watching Off the Shelf Reviews.
Don't let the bed bugs bite. I'll tuck in the children.